Hello, Violet.
Hey Dad, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
We're making it through. We got a lot of snow. It's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It was a big snow day today, and thank you again for taking care of Nana and Ga's driveway. You went over with Will and shoveled out their driveway. That's so nice of you. Our 92 and 91-year-old, my in-laws, your grandparents, they don't need to be shoveling snow.
Mhm.
So that was good. Thank you for that.
So they're not.
Awesome. So the two topics today. One, I want to acknowledge what we did last night because I think we made a really good breakthrough. And then the second thing, I want to share some great news about some stuff happening in Dublin. So we'll start with this first acknowledgement. So thank you again for your willingness to allow me to self-correct last night. I was out of line, and I shared with you that I was not my best self, and I really appreciate the fact that you gave me the space to be able to try to come back and have a conversation with you about it. But more important than the actual act itself, me raising my voice or getting upset, it was more about how you and I can communicate, especially in those moments where one of us is heated. In that particular
Mhm.
last night, I was heated. And I think what's beautiful is we came up with a good solution. And I just want to share that because I think a lot of people are going to say, you, God, the two of you are going to be on the road for a full year. How are you going to make sure you don't drive each other up the freaking wall?
Well, we are, but we're gonna handle it.
Exactly. So do you want to talk about how we're going to handle it, or you want me to?
Um, I think the first thing that we really talked about was just acknowledging when we're in those spaces, because the first and most important thing is just knowing that it's happening and knowing that you're not in the right state of mind. So what we both agreed on was doing a timeout to just call into the space that we're not in the mindset we want to be in, and we
Yeah.
don't want to be like arguing or just having conversations when we're upset like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And the ability to say, hey, let's take a time out or take a pause or anything that will get us in that space of saying, oh gosh, I'm not being my best version of myself right now.
Mhm.
I think it'll take some practice. We're not going to get it right. I think it's like I've never in the history of the world heard someone say calm down and go, oh yeah, yeah, I should probably calm down right now.
Yeah, I should just be calm. You know what? I am wrong. You're right about that.
Exactly.
Never worked.
But
Never.
but we're
So,
gonna try. We're gonna try. And I think the interesting thing was, Will contributed this morning. I was telling him our plans. He said, sometimes it's as simple as just going, just
hmm. I feel like that's on the same level. Like I would try to do that, and we can definitely give it a shot. But I feel like if one of us is losing our mind, the other just goes like, that
or
would be that would be adding fuel to the fire. But we'll try to make it work.
well, I think this is the thing, is that I think it's worth trying. It takes courage to even just take those actions. Even just
Yeah.
doing this or this takes courage. And I think it's something that you and I get to work on together.
And I think it's one of the things that wouldn't really work had we not talked about it. But because we're both like having that be actively on our minds, we might be able to recall these conversations and try to take it down and
Yeah.
be reasonable and have discussions instead of being at each other's throats.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is very real. Like we're both human beings. It's like even though we also have a parent-child relationship, a friendship relationship, buddies, all that kind of stuff. The fact is that, we're both human and we're going to get upset and we're going to lose our stuff and we're going to have to be able to figure out how to work it out. And in that case, I mean, this is a good strategy to at least try. And if we get it wrong, we'll know that too, and we eventually will cool down and we'll do what we did last night. Like I was
Mhm.
totally hijacked for about, I don't know, 2, 3 minutes, and then you left the house, and then you came back, and I wanted to resolve everything right away. And of course, that wasn't good either. But after about, I don't know, what, 30 minutes or so, I was able to come in and we were able to have a real rational conversation. And I was able to own my part in it and say specifically, like I was out of line. I was raising my voice. It was unnecessary. It was not something that was helpful in the situation. And, I'm sorry for that. And the ability for me to call myself back in was then also gave us the space to be able to have a conversation about what to do in the future. You know?
I think the biggest issue with all of these things for me is that my natural instinct when like someone's getting really heated or I can't like communicate effectively is just to leave the situation,
Yeah.
which works for me for a lot of the time because if I give it time, then we can come back to it and talk about it and have it be in a better space. But if we can't leave, if that's not an option, or if we like need to resolve it during the moment, that's not something I'm very much used to. I'm used to reflecting on it and changing for the future,
Yeah.
but I've just gotten so accustomed to leaving the situation until it calms down.
Well, and I appreciate that. So I think even that is a worthwhile request. If you need me to leave or if you need to take a moment, I think that's also something that I promise I will honor. So ultimately, like even if we're in the same space, like it's okay to go outside. It's okay for one of us to leave and the other person can just like take a moment to reflect. Because this is exactly right. It's like I know that there will be things in this trip that don't go as planned. And I know that will be frustrating for one or both of us. And if one of both of us are frustrated, we don't want to take it out on each other. And if we do take it out on each other, we want to clean it up as quickly as humanly possible so that we can basically get back to right relations. Yeah.
To be fair, whenever we do have like arguments or disagreements, it never lasts like into the next day, or if it's like right before we go to bed, it doesn't stay because we're always able to talk about it after the fact. That I think is what I'm most proud about with our relationship there, is that we're able to, after the fact, reflect on it and make up pretty easily. And that's never
You know,
really been a problem.
do you know where that comes from? I'm actually modeling that from Ga. Did I tell you
Yep.
this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Three rules of marriage.
Exactly. So this is the thing. It's like even though it's the Three Rules of Marriage, that's the book that Mom and I wrote, and it's bestseller on Amazon. Yay! But ultimately,
Buy three coffees, it becomes a bestseller.
right, but no, we actually did make it an Amazon bestseller. So it was really I'm very proud of that. But I think to your point is that it's not just about the marriage, it's in every relationship. So the
Yeah.
idea of don't keep score, which is good. You and I clear ourselves and we're not going to hold back. It's like, well, you always do this or this
Yeah.
is your pattern. You never do that. So it's really good. So we don't keep score. And we say more important to say I appreciate you than I love you. Like that we do. We acknowledge each other in appreciation and we don't go to bed angry. I mean, that was the thing. I was not going to leave last night going to bed upset because, we wouldn't have been able to resolve it. And frankly, I think it was worth what we did last night was really healthy and being
Mhm.
able to say, okay, this is where I was out of line. Let me apologize for that and let's figure out how do we make it better. And I think we have.
And I think one thing I want to acknowledge with like don't keep score is sometimes if things are reoccurring, it's important to be able to call them in and talk about them, but that's
Yes.
different than holding it against them.
That's right. The you always is out,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But instead,
None of
it's
that.
yeah. I notice a pattern
Yeah.
of,
If
or
it's I feel or
yeah.
like this has been my experience, it's completely different.
So Violet, what's really funny in this moment is I have to remind myself that you're 18 years old because you are so wise beyond your years. I mean it. Really.
Thank you.
I'm very, very, very pleased that you are my daughter and that I get to spend this time with you because this is really beautiful that you have such advanced understanding. I can't tell you how easy it makes our relationship that you and I can have these more mature conversations. Not everyone gets to do that. That's
Well, I
special.
think I learned most of that from you. So, if you're talking to someone who you're teaching your lessons to, it works out.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. All right. So I am complete on this topic. Are you good with that?
Yep.
Beautiful. So here's the fantastic news. And I've shared this with you a little bit, but we didn't say it publicly. So I want to be able to have this conversation publicly. I met with our sponsors at Google. So we are going to have a kickoff event on Friday, July 4th, and we're going to be able to allow all kinds of coaches all over the world to join us live. Isn't that cool?
This is going to be amazing. I'm so excited for this event. Do you want to go deeper into detail?
Yeah, so this is the stuff that's not confirmed. So what is confirmed is the date. We believe the time will be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 or 2 p.m. We'll announce all of that. We're going to share with details in terms of how people register if they want to join us in Dublin, Ireland, and this will be on July 4th. What's not confirmed, but they're still working on, is we think we might be able to be sponsored as part of like officially with the Pride group inside of Google. And so the internal thinking is that the Pride group would really love to have us there as in terms of sponsorship. And if that happens, that will actually open up some new opportunities and other things we can talk about later. But even more important is the Trevor Project. And so what's cool about that is Google has a matching program. And so you and I get to donate at least $1,000 to this program and turn it into $2,000 so that we give at least $2,000 to the Trevor Project, just us. And then we'll actually invite anyone else in the room who's watching our keynote. Again, the keynote's going to be free. They can come in the plan is to have a 90-minute conversation with us and then a 90-minute networking session. So coaches are going to love this. In addition to that, like if anyone wants to donate anything, whatever they donate that day will be matched by Google. Isn't that cool?
That's amazing. This is such a great opportunity for us to be donating and giving back, and also a crazy event. We get to
Yeah,
do it at Google. That
I
like
know. Yeah, and it's not just Google. This is the global headquarters of Google. And so a lot of people think it's Silicon Valley, but they moved the headquarters from Silicon Valley to Dublin, and they have one of the most gorgeous offices I've ever been in my life. So you'll see like their place is just insane. And you and I are going to get to have a private lunch with our sponsors before we go on stage. So we'll have a whole tour of the campus and really cool. And if depending on where we end up, it's going to be an opportunity for us to be able to, anyone who joins us can actually go to the Google store. Now, that might seem like a lot, but the thing is, you can't go to the Google store just as an outside person. You have to be invited to these events. So, any merchandise or anything else you want, you'll be able to get there at the Google store. Isn't that cool?
Wait, so do they sell like exclusive things there? I've never heard about it.
Yes. Anything branded Google, you can only get at the Google store. They don't sell it anywhere else in the world. And so the beautiful thing about it is that you have to go to a Google campus to get Google merchandise. And we're going to be in a space where we can get some stuff. And I'm sure the people who come can do that too, depending on which
Mhm.
room we end up going in. They're thinking that they're still looking at which space we're gonna want to occupy, but they are thinking this will be a fairly sizable event. And not only will this be great for the outside coaches, but everybody who wants to inside of Google that wants to be part of this will have the opportunity to do so. So this could be a fairly large event, which I'm really excited by. So this will be your first public keynote, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've ever done one before.
And I know you did some acting on stage, and so you're not just familiar, right? But ultimately, this is going to be your first public keynote, and I think that's going to be exciting to be able to do it at Google. It's a
Yeah,
good driver.
I really, I mean, it's a high bar to set. Following that up is not going to be easy, but I do enjoy like being on stage and just doing things, especially with you. It comes naturally to me, and I don't really mind. I don't have like stage fright or anything, so I enjoy that we get to do that together.
Yeah, it's great. And I can only imagine if Google Pride is involved, they're going to have some really cool things we can play with in terms of content and opportunities. We'll have some live Q&A sessions. And then, of course, regardless of whether they are or not, we'll have that 90-minute networking. So you'll get to meet and greet a lot of my friends from Europe that I've never actually met in person. So this will be the
Mhm.
first time we get to shake hands or give hugs. So that's going to be super fun. So yeah, it's all coming together. And this is the first of many events we'll have the opportunity to do when we're on the road together. And I'm just excited because it's such a big one. It's going to be so cool to kick us off this way.
And that's just after we start the trip. We're just opening this with a bang. We're not getting like time to settle in and like relax. We're just going for it.
Yeah. And I have my friend and I'm working with another my really close friend Anne Marie who also works at LinkedIn. She's the person that we're going to be meeting with first even before we go to Google. And she said that she might be able to get us a tour of LinkedIn as well. So we might be able to go to both LinkedIn and Google in the same week. Isn't that crazy?
Who are we?
Right? Yeah. Yeah, she lives in Greystones, which is just south of Dublin, and it's one of the most beautiful train rides. We get to see the countryside, and I think we'll be able to go on a couple of really fun hikes when we're out there too. So even this, the first
Nice.
week is just going to be kicking off in a beautiful, beautiful way. So I'm super excited about it. It's
I
awesome.
mean, honestly, it's just fitting that we're not taking it slow and we're just like full sending right into it. That's
Yeah,
just what we're doing.
how we do it, right? This is how
Just
we
how
do
we
it.
do.
So good. Great. Excellent. Well, listen, I'm so happy that you and I had a chance to talk last night, that we figured out a good strategy. We'll continue to test that as we go. We still have a couple months left of our planning and we'll put all that stuff together. But July 1st is going to be here before you know it. I mean, seriously, it's going to happen so quick. And then we're going to be out in the world for a full year. I mean, I'm getting really excited for this.
And that's right after school ends too. It's not like a break in between or like all this summertime. We're just
This is your break. This is
at
your break.
nah, the trip is gonna be more of a break. I think that's gonna be way more fun than what I'm doing now.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like as soon as we get on the airplane, your break has started. You have a
Yeah.
1 year break as opposed to a few weeks or, a small summertime. So it'll be unlike anything you've experienced before. I'm
I think
excited.
it's interesting though, because like typically with summer, I spend a lot of time like in bed or in the house just like relaxing, but that's not the case. We're gonna be out there the whole time. I don't know if we're gonna get any rest.
Yeah, well, we'll do our best. And the thing is, you and I will gauge as we go through this. Like sometimes we'll just need to have a rest day, and we'll literally like, okay, we're gonna go lay on the beach and just do nothing for today, and that'll be the plan. So I'm sprinkling that throughout, and of course I just did another session with Mom earlier this week, so that's also up on the website, talking
Nice.
about how she's going to be joining us as well. So
Mhm.
it's like these are things. The other thing I didn't share with you is the guy Peter who put together Traveler's Point. I did an interview with him as well, so that's now up on the podcast, talking about specifically how he used his technology to map out the entire world, which is super fun. So yeah,
Mhm.
good stuff. Yeah, it's great. I'm excited. This is really fun.
Yeah. This doesn't feel real.
I
We're
know.
coming up on this faster than I'm ready for, but
Yeah,
we'll do it.
that's right. Exactly. Life's what happens when you're making other plans.
Exactly.
All right. Well, listen, I love you. I appreciate you. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Take
I do
care.
too.
Bye.
Bye.